Hello, everyone. Today um, is Wednesday, uh, July 15th. I don't know why I'm saying this. Wait, is it July 15th? Yesterday was the 14th, right? Yeah, it's the 15th. Okay, so the reason why I said that is because I have been recording a video every day on my camcorder, and I start the date like that. I start the tape like that. But anyways, I've been busy these past few days. I turned 18 and all that sweet jazz. I turned 18. Went to go to my college for quite some time. Got into the Scholars College, which I didn't even know I applied for. Uh, just an honors program. It's an honors program that is an accelerated program, which will let me get my master's in 1 year. Uh, yeah. Anyways, onto it, I suppose. So, yeah. I'm leaving my PS5 when I go to college, which means there's going to be gigantic gaps, or hell, August 11th might be the last day I play this world. I'm going to bring my PS3 with me because the PS3 is the best thing ever, and I might bring the PS3 with me, I should say. But I digress. So, I realized that I did not have enough time to truly make the Dominion pageant, which would be making everything that I always wanted to make and finishing everything that I always wanted to finish. I realize now that the mental picture of my head of Cochrane shouldn't be a completed city, because a completed city is not a living city. Go think of New York. Is every bit of building finished in New York? No. Think of every major city, every major living city. Is every building finished? No. Now think of every dying city, like Monroe, Louisiana. Is Monroe, Louisiana? Are there unfinished buildings or finished buildings in the downtown? There are finished buildings, which shows Monroe's not growing and Monroe's not living. But I digress. So, yeah. But Hollyton was left in the state. Hollyton makes up one of I think, the core 5 cities in my Minecraft world. You have Cochrane, Dorrance, Mayfield, which are the big three economically largest cities in my world. And then you have the outer two, which are Hollyton. And there's another, I forgot the name, hold on. I'm thinking. Not Oliston. Dragonstone. Yeah, Dragonstone. Hollyton and Dragonstone were both established in 24. Actually, Hollyton is a lot older. It might even be older than the rings because it was found in 2022. But anyways, yeah, Dragonstone has received a lot of work from me recently, and it's still far from finished. But Hollyton is getting more of a pressing matter because while in my store, the city of Dragonstone is incredibly important. It is an incredibly major manufacturing hub. The city of Hollyton is literally the capital city to one of the nations in my Minecraft world, and it's not even a city. It's the smallest of the big 5. Um, which is funny. The big 5 is also listed is listed correctly the size. Oakland is the biggest, followed by Mayfield, followed by Durance, followed by Hollyton. Wait, no, followed by Draxton, followed by Hollyton. That also goes in order of creation. There aren't any really big buildings in Hollyton, but I'll go over some of this is probably the biggest forest. That's the tallest that the council is on about. But yeah, so let me first chart the area of Hollyton. Most of it can be charted geographically because a small hill range runs through the flanks of the city. And then the city's also kissing the coast, so it doesn't really, it only ends, there's only two ends of the city where it needs like a defined border because it wouldn't be separated from like the forest or the field. So right here is where you enter the city of Hollyton. I need to put up a sign. Um, from here, Hollyton goes past the wall. So any point past the wall through here is in Hollyton and subject to the Hollyton boundary and limits. As you can see, we're on a hill. Alright, we're on a hill. Now that we're on a hill, the border kind of turns. It starts turning through here past this campfire. It goes through here. Pretty much anything to the, so like every ravine we just passed, the border was to the right. This is leaving Hollyton. This right here is the wall surrounding Hollyton, part of the wall at least. I have an ungodly amount of cobblestone that I just need to do shit with, so I just started building gigantic walls. This leads to the road, and this is the Armored Hill. It originally had no name, it was the Hollyton Quarry, but I think Armored Hill kind of suits it because you'll see why in a second. The hill, well, at least a face of the, and it goes up there, and the face of the hill is literally just it's like plated with armor. Because this is the Hollyton Quarry where we just were. Now there are there are 4 parts of Hollyton, excluding the quarry. In total, there are 5 parts of Hollyton. Well, actually, no, there are 6 parts. My God, I can't get anything right. I'm tired. But, yeah, there are 6 parts of Hollyton. You have the quarter. I mean, well, yeah, the quarry. The Noi quarter, which is everything that's going to be in this area right here. You have the old quarter. No, wait. Yeah, the quarter. You have the quarter, just the quarter. This is the quarter. Which is basically just the entirety of the downtown of Hollyton. Some of these buildings I just put up today, and some of these buildings were just like a foundation. Like, for example, this one is dedicated to Myra, the dog that died. My dog that died the day I built this back in August 2025. This is the Myra Hall, which is the Capitol building in Hollyton. Right here used to be the Grand Station of Hollyton, but since the trains got updated before that motherfucker was built, I have to use it for something else. This right here, we're still in the quarter. I'm just going to the other part. The Hollyton ends. Hollyton City begins at that wall, goes into basically kind of like a half circle, crescents at one end, and then begins. So the furthest the city goes is to Lake Shardy, but I plan to actually have the city go as far as the Bay of Donmond, or where this old village was, but that's probably never going to happen because, like, you can't even see the city from here. So let's say if I actually didn't start a million projects at once, I'm pretty sure Hollyton would be about here, but I don't think I should expand Hollyton anyway, because Hollyton, it's a city on the biome's edge, but it leans heavily into the aesthetics of a cold city. Hell, even the name Hollyton. Oh, and I forgot. Hollyton also extends to the Donnell Islands. Wait, hold on. I forgot the name of these islands. Oh, fuck, what were the name of these islands? I had them written down, but we're gonna go to. They're not incorporated yet, but into the city themselves. But that was the third zone back there, the third part of Hollyton, which is the agricultural zone, or the Academy of Exploration Agricultural Studies zone. So it's not really a official part of the city. And one of the subzones is the Hollyton Gates, which is a very, very important cultural landmark, which used to house all the trains, but I rediverted the rail line. But I built this recently to be a train yard. And then we have Sledgeton, which was built, not finished, of course, but built to adhere to the Covanosis pledges of society. It's basically the cultural district. And here's the Lunvi smelter. That's not a zone. And then down here is Quarry Way, but that's not done. That's the Grand Hollyton storage. And right here we have the final zone, the Civic Park of Hollyton. Let's see, that's 6 zones. Hold on. Quarry, Noy Quarter, the Porter, Agricultural Zone, Pledgeton, yeah, Civic Park. The Civic Park is where, like, the capital of Covanosis is, and a lot of, like, the Mint, a lot of the important governmental buildings, because the capital of Covanosis never get built. Oh, this is Academy Way down here, which is a subzone. Academy Way. So these are some of the first buildings built out this way. That besides, the villager buildings. I started coming back to this area in 2023. This was the first building I built out here. Well, the first building I built right here, like within the limits of Hollyton. It was built. I put the last used date as the build date, and it was October 23rd. 3:01 a.m. 2023. Right here, the area of Hollyton, which is a very important book. Right. The earthly features: the River Donau, ice fissures, Lake Shardy, Lake Casawaka, 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 and the Icewind Hollow. So I forgot the name, write down the name of those islands. But basically, the islands kind of give way to a sort of fractured peninsula. And like if you continue down that way, you find ocean. There's nothing else. But yeah, let's go over Hollyton. Hollyton was the first city of Covanosis. Oh, like it was the first city that the Donland Academy, or the Donlandic Academy, or the Cochrane Academy, or just the Academy of Exploration. Because it used to be the Cochrane Explorers League. Well, actually, no. The Academy in Cochrane Explorers League was a separate entity until they merged. That's why every Exploration League building in Cochrane has been renamed. Oh yeah, I forgot to show the stables. So the Golden Bread stables. Golden Bread is a long running kind of Easter egg in my worlds. It began in 2020 with the Golden Bread stables, and I've been continuing it for 6 years. There has to be a horse company in every world named Golden Bread. This is the stable yard. Or all income. So there is a planned, there's a planned secondary entrance into Hollyton. But considering that this is the widest road going into Hollyton and everything narrows, carts and cars aren't permitted into the quarter of the city, which means the quarter of Hollyton, which means every major road has to turn before going into the city. Every wide road. Because the old city's so narrow. And usually there's a market outside the city walls that's set up where a lot of traders stop their carts, rest up, feed their horses, and offer their wares. The train used to run through here, but I diverted it because it didn't make sense to have the train running through the main road. Because the trains came here first. The trains are here before the road. And in lore, there's also going to be another rail line that runs through here. But in lore, this rail line is an emergency rail line because that rail line that I plan to build will go around the city. But I needed a rail line that will really connect from the quarry to the artery of the city, which is the storage, because I dug out a cave the size of France. It started as a narrow ass cave, and then I just started drilling and drilling and drilling and drilling. So I need to have all of those resources out of those chests and brought to the city so I can start using them. That's actually what has caused a lot of paralysis in my builds, because I know I have to go down a fucking gigantic mine shaft where getting down is easy, but getting up takes forever. And I have to make multiple trips to the surface or just multiple trips back to the build site because my inventory fills up so quickly because there's an ungodly amount of resources in those chests down there. But we should probably talk about the Hollyton Quarry itself. The Hollyton Quarry is a pretty old build. It's a very, very old build. It's one of the first builds out here. The Hollyton Quarry was built basically as one of my... So before I had add-ons and stuff like that, and this dates back to stuff I did like when I had additions of Minecraft, where before I could just, in the blink of a second, in the blink of an eye, have all the resources I ever need just by running the drill that took so many resources to build, so it's not really cheating. Just by running the drill, I had to dig down and carve out sections of the earth because I needed raw stone, raw diorite, raw andesite, raw granite, which you can't really get a lot of without, digging down. And that actually is the original entrance to the cave. It wasn't this low. originally. But yeah, this is the quarry, and this is also the quarry that probably killed this world for the longest time. From January to March, I couldn't play this world because it was on the PS4 version, and I didn't know that every time I tried to get the Minecraft PS5 version, it prompted me to buy it, so I thought I couldn't get it for free, but then it randomly one day switched to, oh, by the way, you own the PS4 version, so you can upgrade for free. I haven't really lit this place up as much as I should. But yeah, it's a gigantic mess. I filled up so many chests and stuff. Almost every chest you saw there was filled up. I have been emptying it for months now, but every chest you saw there was filled up at one point. And there are just so many resources around here. Now this wasn't for ore. If I wanted ore, the most important ores are iron and coal, which you don't find underground, you find in mountains. But I needed deep slate for all my roads because I prefer to build roads out of deep slate. And what's funny is, oh yeah, building a minecart line to the chest so I can put them in my trains and get out of here. But yeah, what's funny is I've always preferred to build my roads out of deep slate. And deep slate takes a while to mine. Well, in my old Minecraft world, the one that came before this, the last major one, which was from 2020 to 22, I built basically an interstate line that spread from one end of the gigantic island to the other. That Minecraft world took place on an island or a peninsula because the way old world generation used to be, the Caves and Cliffs update kind of changed generation to be basically mountains connect every landmass now. So yeah, basically so I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. Where my world takes place, Donlin, the continent of Donlin is a supercontinent. It's a massive continent. But where I spawned in, since I've charted it, is basically like a narrow belt. It's the narrowest portion of Donlin, which I thought that was a cool because like the place where my God, that's terrifying. What is back there? Oh, the place I built all my cool structures and shit also is on a neat geographic feature, and it's also where it is the most temperate part of my Minecraft world because, well, not temperate, but it's both the flattest part of Donlin. Well, actually, there are parts of Frostland which are flatter, but for the most part, it is flatter of Donlin. It also has the access to both oceans. What I mean is, the warm coast, which is the western coast, still is frozen in the southern parts. But the belt, the entire belt where my world and shit takes place, that small little belt, doesn't have a frozen ocean on each end. It has a little bit of the northern ocean, which is on the eastern coast, which is the cold coast. The cold coast, I know it's a rather basic name, but it's a succinct name because the right side to the right is an entire frozen ocean. You can walk to Valandia from there. Speaking of Valandia, I should have done more there. I'm just more so reflecting now on the time spent in this world and how little I did, but I've actually probably carved out a sizable amount of this world. often wonder to myself if all bits of walled-in territory in my Minecraft world, which is territory that is definitively mine. That's what walled-in means. I wonder how much percentage of the walled-in territories were all bundled into one would take up. But anyways, god damn it, I got lost from the original point. This was just a ramble. But I just wanted to show off Hollyton because I'm going to. This is probably the last glimpse at Hollyton before all the renovations and the finishing. So this is the unfinished Hollyton, and it'll probably remain unfinished, but it'll be a lot more finished by the time I'm done.